Hi guys, welcome to another edition of the Objective Football Banter Show. I'm your host, Twizy, and today we'll be diving into football topics that had to do with the past game week over the weekend across Europe, of course, but with some emphasis on the Premier League. It's been an eventful weekend. Some games postponed, some games went ahead. Of course, the event surrounding the funeral of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, has made police presence unavailable for some teams, and as a result, they are forced to postpone games. Teams like Chelsea versus Liverpool, Manchester United against Leeds United, and I think Brighton also had their game postponed. But still, some games went ahead, and we had about maybe 6 to 7 games, some of which we'll be analyzing and running through.
Fantastic, absolutely fantastic.
Well, on Friday, Aston Villa ran out 1-0 winners against Southampton. Remember, Aston Villa have been really shocking form this season. Haven't really been playing too well, particularly well, but they managed to scrape a win against Southampton, and for all their troubles, it's quite impressive. Who knows? Maybe they'll be able to build on it, going forward from now. They still don't look impressive to me. I think they're still going to struggle a lot this season, but we'll see how that plays out. Southampton, on the other hand, they've not had a bad start to their season, especially when you compare to other seasons. But they've lost a game. I think they will still stay in the Premier League this year. I think they will do well. I think they will be around. I think they will survive. I think they will play well. Fulham, another team that's looking to me like they mean business this time around. They always come to the Premier League and get relegated almost immediately. It's become almost a norm for them. Fulham and Norwich are two teams that I hate anytime they promote, because they don't provide any entertainment factor. They get promoted, they play 38 games, and by game week 30, they're already relegated. But it's looking like Marco Silva is doing a really good job at Fulham. They ran out 3-2 winners against Nottingham Forest. Remember Nottingham Forest too, struggling, newcomers to the league, signed 19 players. I can't get my head over that number. 19 players. Nottingham Forest signed 19 football players. Literally two football teams. They are still struggling to get out, the bottom half of the table. And that's like a team with 8 substitutes. Crazy. And it's crazy to think that they are really struggling to win games. I think they've lost back-to-back home games, and I think questions, will start to get asked as regards their transfer policy or their strategy. Or what the plan is exactly, because I really don't know. Crazy stuff. Tottenham began the second game day of game week 7, and they ran out 6-2 winners. It was a very strange game, weird game, because for large parts of the game, Leicester were playing very well. They were possessing Tottenham. They had more shots on target. They created more chances, but they just couldn't pay attention. They just couldn't focus. Tottenham, for all their struggles, had firepower on the bench. It was weird to see Young Son on the bench, but when Antonio Conte decided to switch things up and bring him in, you saw a 13 to 14 minutes, masterclass by Son, where he scored a hat-trick and just left Leicester City in tatters. Like I said in the last episode, I'm beginning to think that Leicester are strong candidates, for relegation. I think they are good to get relegated. I don't know how they want to do it though. I don't know how they want to do it, because they'll still plan to sell players in January. I think Tielemans leaves in January. If he doesn't leave in January, he will leave by June. Madison doesn't plan to renew his contract as well. So things are really looking shitty, in that place. I do not know how they intend to get out of this mess. 1 point out of 7 games. Their next 4 games look quite tasty though. They look like they could scrape a win or a draw out of those fixtures. They don't look really, serious. But with the team spirit that they have right now, the general morale level very low. I don't know how they intend to do it. I just think that, maybe Brendan Rodgers has, just gotten to the highest point that they can get with the club, and maybe it's probably time to move on. The international break, is always a very crazy time for breakfast. A lot of breakups happen.
So we don't have the capacity.
The international break in football. Some players go to international break, come back, and they meet another manager, and then things just change all over again. Oh my God. So it will be interesting to see how that plays out. For teams like Chelsea, the international break pretty much started maybe last week. After sacking Thomas Tuchel, remember I told you that last episode Chelsea were not looking so good. But then a day or two later after our episode, we got word that Thomas Tuchel got sacked. They hired a new coach in Graham Potter. His first game in the Champions League, 1-1 draw. It'll be interesting to see how he fares when he returns after the international break. Of course, the games on October 1st and 2nd will be quite interesting. Manchester United and Manchester City will be playing the Manchester derby. Arsenal and Tottenham will face each other in the North London derby. Quite, tasty way to return from the international break.
God have mercy upon us.
Everton managed to scrape a win against West Ham. Really surprising result. I really thought that West Ham were going to, put Everton under a lot of pressure. But I think I'm beginning to see signs that Frank Lampard is beginning to put some semblance of order into the way that squad is playing. They really look balanced and organized. I like Amadou Onana a lot. Yeah, that lanky guy, fine footballer. I think he has, a lot of control. He knows how to really handle, the midfield. He plays quite well. Alex Iwobi has been sensational for them. You could say that part of the reason why they are playing so well is because of Alex Iwobi. He's done really quite well for them, and I think that they will also survive this season. I think they are looking like they are beginning to get some order, into how they are playing, and that's a very good sign. I think Lampard deserves some credit. I think he has done quite well. I think that the way they are playing now, Neil Maupay has ended his goal scoring drought. I think that with the way they are putting themselves together, I like the way Damari Gray is playing. I think he's doing very well for them. I think that they are really going to be able to put some wins together, especially against the lower sides. They were impressive really against West Ham. West Ham, for all the transfer business that they did, are still struggling and languishing in the bottom half of the table. Questions will begin to be asked, especially after the national break. Big questions will begin to be asked. West Ham really have to get their season on track immediately, as soon as possible, because by the end of October, the World Cup will be just around the corner. You need to have amassed a lot of wins by then. Of course, October will be a very interesting time for most Premier League teams, because I think, especially for teams who are in Europe, the top 6 sides, virtually everyone of them will play no less than 9 to 10 games. You should really stretch them. That might be an opportunity for the mid-table teams and the lower bottom teams to get a couple of points. But we'll see how that plays out. But personally, I really don't wish West Ham well. I think that last season, many of their fans were really beginning to mouth off, saying that they are overtaking Arsenal among the top 6. The same thing, even for Leicester fans. I really don't feel bad for what's happened to Leicester, to be honest. I think they deserve every misery that's currently piling on them. Because I remember last season where their fans were saying, even Aston Villa, at some point they were saying that they were the new entrance to the top 6. Well, how about that now? How is your entrance into the top 6 going? You are languishing in 18th, 19th, and 20th. Let's see about how those new entrants in the top 6 are going.
Money.
That will teach you people some lesson. The big clubs are big clubs. You can never be more than what you are. Unfortunately, that's just what it is. You can win the Premier League, you can win the FA Cup maybe once, twice, 2 titles, maybe 7, 8 years. Then suddenly start to give you big on and think that you are here. But the truth of the matter is, you are what you are. You are what you are. These clubs are not as big as Arsenal.
Continue. I love it.
Even Manchester United, they are trying to disrespect clubs like Manchester United. You mean Manchester United? Some of these fans, some of you need to just, pipe down. Some of you need to just calm down, because the truth of the matter is, epochs and eras always come to an end. Ten Hag was making a comment like that. Eras come to an end. So if you come to an end, they will restart again like Arsenal. Arsenal hasn't won the league, in how many years? Arsenal are now looking like a team that wants to challenge for the title. So because they're a big club, the resources will always be there. Once you get a good manager, it's always difficult to stop a big club. That's just what it is. So Leicester fans, West Ham fans, Aston Villa fans, just calm down. You are not a big club.
Just lower your expectations, man. You're not a decent club anymore.
You are not a big club. You are not ready to mix it with the big boys yet. Sorry. Manchester City 3-0 winners away to Wolverhampton. Erling Haaland, nobody can stop that guy. Who will stop that guy? For Christ's sake. Who will stop him? That guy is unstoppable. 11 goals in 7 to 8 games? 11 goals. Who's going to stop him? I mean, I don't understand though. They went and bought pretty much a goal scoring machine robot. 99% efficiency. I don't even think the machine has lagging time. The guy scores regularly, scores anytime he wants. Well, we'll see how that plays out against Arsenal. Yeah, that's me getting cocky. Saliba is going to handle Haaland. Yes, Saliba is going to pocket him. Did you see what Arsenal did to Brentford? Saliba pocketed Ivan Toney. Remember, Ivan Toney just got called up to the national team because of how really well he's been playing over the past year. And William Saliba made him look like child's play, handled him efficiently, even scored, on top, to add extra gloss to his performance. Arsenal were dominant. They didn't just win the game, they dominated for 90 full minutes. That was the lowest amount of shots on goal that Brentford had against an opposing team at home since they promoted last season. They couldn't score, they couldn't defend, they couldn't keep the ball in midfield. Arsenal were just simply devastating, which is really interesting because players like Martin Odegaard and Alexander Zinchenko couldn't even make the squad because of injuries, And then to add insults to injury, Mikel Arteta now brought in Ethan Nwaneri, 15-year-old footballer, plays as a central midfielder and 8 box-to-box essentially. And it was just a wonderful moment. Youngest player to ever play in the Premier League at 15 years and about 100 plus days. Youngest player to ever play for Arsenal, breaking Cesc Fabregas' record. It was such an interesting substitution. 3 goals to nil. Excellent performance on the day. I think that if Arsenal can manage to stay on top of the table or in the top 4 till just before the World Cup begins, I think Arsenal really cause a lot of problems this season. A very key factor to how they will end up will be next month. They play 9 football matches next month, Europa League games and Premier League games. It will be interesting to see how they fare. I think they have some squad depth now. If they can manage to stay off the injuries, October will really be a very interesting month. If Arsenal can scrape through October, winning maybe half or 60-70% of their league games, I think that they are going to be up there by the end of the season. I think if Liverpool should meet Arsenal based on current form, especially at home, if Arsenal should meet Liverpool at home based on current form, I think Liverpool gets spanked. The signs of fragility are all over the Liverpool squad, but we'll see. They didn't play over the week, and of course all games were postponed last week, so we'll never know where Liverpool are now mentally. We'll see about that, and let's hope that most of these teams will give us a lot of entertainment factor when they return back in October. Speaking about the Spanish League, the Italian League, and of course the German League, Bayern Munich continued their inconsistent run. They lost by 1-0. In the Champions League, they did very well against Barcelona, but they were inconsistent. Barcelona ran out 4-0 winners over the weekend, expected, given that Elche is shit team really. Real Madrid 2-1, winning the Madrid derby. Truth of the matter is, I don't think that Atletico Madrid have what it takes to compete this year, which is weird because they have a lot of big names in their squad. I think Diego Simeone's time at Atletico might be coming to an end. I do not think that he can take them to the next level anymore. I think his style of football has become so outdated, quite boring. For me, I think it's just a matter of time before he gets replaced. But we'll see how that happens. Real Madrid, Barcelona, again, the margins are very, very slim, very tight. I still think their Clasico will be the determining factor. I think when they meet in their Clasico, we'll really get an idea of who will win the league. But for now, it's just too close to call at the moment. Barcelona have considered probably just a goal this season, and they scored 18. Madrid have considered maybe just 4 or 5, and they scored 17. So margins are quite tight. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out. Alright everybody, thank you so much for hanging with me. Remember to click like, share, and subscribe to our channel to help us grow. Until the next episode, see you.